So, now we go back to cinema. We go back to cinema and we talk about what's love got to do with it, which Sharon saw. Not as you might think. You might think, hang on, have we already heard of that film? Wasn't that the Tina Turner biopic? And yes, there was a Tina Turner biopic starring Angela Bassett and what's his face, Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, which was Oscar nominated. This is not that film. This is
Yeah.
a film that has everything. Well, essentially, I think it's got Lily James, and Lily James is in
Ubiquitous.
danger. Oh yeah, she is ubiquitous. She is everywhere, and she is in danger of becoming the British rom com queen or the British
Yeah.
rom com person, and I think and this might be I don't know because he had this the poster of this film made me think oh god the poster of this film made me think I know exactly what this film is, which may be wrong. And Sharon, I'll let you talk to us about the film, but I think the fact that you had Lily James on a poster in what begins as a friendship and is going to end up in like some sort of unrequited love is going to end up in a relationship with a South Asian man. And I'm like, didn't we just see this woman yesterday?
Yeah.
It's like, didn't we see it yesterday? And so yeah. So essentially, the poster and the advertising for this film has not done much to make me think this is anything worth seeing. But Sharon, tell us about what's love got to do with it.
What's Love Got to? Yeah, it starts off with the main protagonist, as you're right, is played by Lily James. She grew up in sort of this London suburb where, and with her mum, Emma Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
And their next door neighbours, the Shahs, a family where there's a son of a similar age to her, and well, two sons and a daughter. And they are a family of Pakistani origin, or sort of they're the sort of subcontinent origin anyway. And they're a Muslim family, but they've become very close over the years. They grew up together. They've always been in relationship together. They had fun, and they've been mates and pals for a long, long time. And Lily James sort of moved away from home, and she's become a journalist, makes a documentary maker and a journalist.
Yep.
So she
Yep.
makes these sort of like sort of edgy, cutting edge sort of documentaries, and so she has been given this sort of brief that they want her to make something real but a bit less sort of serious, because she's done things on like domestic abuse and on various different really hard hitting subjects, and they say, yeah, we want you to sort of make something a bit more edgy but a bit more happy. And so her best friend, her neighbor, has decided that he's now in his 30s, he's a doctor, he's a registrar, and it's time he settled down, and he's decided to go down his traditional family route, which is to have an arranged marriage. That
Mm.
in his family, that it has worked for his parents, and his one of his siblings has had an arranged marriage, and that it's something that he thought, well, it's worked for a lot of people I see around me, more than conventional, where someone you meet someone and then these relationships fall apart. He's going to
Yeah.
trust in the tradition, and so he says, yes, I will agree to an arranged marriage. And so you see the process by which he meets his prospective wife, and how Lily James's character decides that this is the perfect opportunity I need to make a documentary that will cover, with their consent, will see this sort of side of a culture that we haven't seen before. So she is that becomes like a documentary maker. She follows the course of this relationship and the sort of the courtship, and how the families get involved, and how you don't really get to know your prospective spouse. More or less, they say several times in the film, this is not about falling in love, this is about walking into love.
Mm.
How sometimes um if people sort of work well on paper, and then it may take a bit of time, but love grows rather than it appears, it grows. And so that was the sort of premise, and you see them walking, her sort of trying to sort of find her way through her own romantic feelings, that her mum has said, oh, this my vet is going to be perfect for you. So how she's trying to form her own, like, following her head rather than her heart. And
Yeah.
you see her trying to form this relationship with her mother's vet. um, and and then it draws to the conclusion where he goes through this marriage, and not is all as it would appear.
Nah.
When you
Nah.
do get to meet someone for the first time, and when there's sort of the veil comes off, as it were, literally,
Yeah.
that what you see is not always what you expect it to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Oh,
So
so
I don't want to give the ending away, but to be in some ways, the ending is entirely predictable.
the ending's on the poster, so it's
Yes.
kind of like,
Yeah. So in some ways, I thought it was interesting because again, it's outside my culture. Though
yeah.
they were saying that, I know I've got a couple of friends who are of Indian heritage, but they're Christians from an Indian background, and they had an arranged marriage because it's
Mm-hmm.
not just a Muslim thing. It can be Christians from India and Christians from Bangladesh and
Yep.
Pakistan. Also, it's a cultural thing as well as not sort of just religion, but they do emphasize the fact that this is like a Muslim ceremony as well as
Yeah.
from sort of Pakistani Indian heritage. So it's interesting, but I thought it was a lost opportunity actually. I thought I'd like to see that film of someone walking into love rather than falling into love, and it sets it up as being this doing something a bit different with a rom com, and they get so far, then they go, you know what, we're going to do a normal rom com, and so they just
Oh,
throw all that away and they just fall back on the conventionalities
it's like a bit
again.
like Ant-Man. A bit like Ant-Man is like, look, we're in the quantum realm. It's all crazy. It's all woo. It's all, oh, whoa, 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 too crazy, too crazy. Pull it back, pull it back, pull it back.
Yeah. And this is like hey, no, we can't have a romantic comedy where they don't fall in love. We can't have a walking into love romance. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Sorry, my ears falling out again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay.
I thought it would, to me, it was a bit like, you know what, this could have been interesting. This could have been doing something different with taking this sort of conventional form and then doing something different with it. But no, 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 they just fell back on the usual tropes. And I
Yeah.
think I like Lily James. She is likable, which is probably why she does appear in normally everything. But I found Emma Thompson in this was there's two versions of Emma Thompson. You get like the serious Emma Thompson where she's like, I'm acting now, and then you know that she's going to be acting throughout the whole film, and then you get like a panto version.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I got the feeling that we got
Last
panto.
Christmas. Last Christmas was
Oh,
definitely Panto Emma Thompson.
this
Yeah.
is, and I think this to me, this was panto Emma Thompson. She was like embracing her multiculturalism by by painting her house in really bright colours and wearing, sort of semi-ethnic clothes, if you can use that phrase. So I was a bit like, okay, we've got
Yeah,
panto
I've
version.
I've heard a bit about the Emma Thompson character, and people are kind of like saying, oh, and people are saying things along the lines of, and I think this film is the kind of film that I can think that will set off my colonialism alarm kind of thing. It will set off my colonial. I'm like, but like people talk about the fact that but look her, she's really really friendly with her neighbors, and she has absolutely no problem having the food and everything like that. But every now and then she'll come up with something that's actually really really offensive or really really like racist or anything like that. And I was just kind of thinking, yeah, I know people like that. I know people like that. I've been in churches with people like that where they're really really nice and everything like that. But once it comes to the cultural thing, there's just something. And so I there's bits about this like the whole idea that finding your own way and falling in love with somebody and everything like that is just so much more superior to having like an arranged marriage. And for me, there is this thing in there that essentially says, "Oh, the English culture is way better than the Indian culture, or the or like some tribes in Nigeria, or essentially most of the rest of the world is like we're elevating our stuff above yours." And that it's yeah, I agree with you. I want to see the romantic comedy that's about an arranged marriage and how that actually works. And I
How it
know
can
that
work, yeah.
yeah, I know that there are some bits in there's a film called Monsoon Wedding. Well, that is an Indian film, and there's a it's almost like an Indian Love Actually, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
yeah, but there's a storyline in there that's all about this and how that works and all that. But I think let's explore how this actually works. Like, show me a film about the couple that have married 50 years and had an arranged or assisted marriage. I want to see that film.
Yeah, they
Um,
use the term assisted marriage. Yeah, sorry, that's the term they're using it. Because the parents, the parents of the male character, I forgot his name.
the actor is
Kazim.
Shazad Latif.
That's it. He's been a lot of things, hasn't he? Yeah, Star Trek Discovery and
Discovery, yep.
all sorts of things. But yeah, his parents have had this assisted marriage, and they talk. They're the ones who sort of use the phrase, this is about walking into love, and you can see that they have a genuine affection with them. I'm thinking, this is good. This is what you want to see. This sort of positive reinforcement of like someone's culture, and the fact
Yeah,
that how you can do things differently. You don't have to fall back on the
yeah,
same old, same old. And the fact that in some ways it's like if someone has been like have a disastrous love life, why keep on making the same mistakes again and again and again? And in this film, it's almost like they gave lip service to saying, we recognise that there might be value in this, and then they just go, actually, no, we want to do the whole falling in love thing. And I
Okay.
just thought it's an opportunity wasted for me.
All right, cool. I have a daughter yelling for me, so I'm just gonna tell you. But there was a rom-com that I saw and looked like I saw the poster and saw everything about it, and I thought this looks like everything I'm complaining about with the rom-com. Like you know how it's going to go. It's called Somebody I Used to Know. It's on Prime Video. It stars Alison Brie, directed by Dave Franco, and the film kicks off. And essentially, this film looked so predictable, and I was like, I'm not going to bother with this because I think I know how this is going to end. And it was one of these things where there's a trope where everything is about there's somebody who seems to be in a happy relationship, but obviously this is Hollywood, so definitely that has got to be a lie. Nobody can be in a happy relationship. You have to go.
I have to go. My
All
visit
right, cool.
arrived.
Okay, cool. But before you go, Somebody I Used to Know. I skipped all the. I was so against this. I skipped all the way to the end of Somebody I Used to Know,
Oh,
and it surprised me. It surprised me. Like
Oh,
it is not. It did not go how I thought it would go. And so now, but now seeing the end, and I can't be able to go back to the rest of the film. But but I would say Somebody I Used to Know, that might surprise you as a rom com with a bit of a twist.
curious.
All right.
okay.
Okay, cool. Enjoy the nuts and
Rest
the
of your
olives
evening.
and the grapes and everything.
Wonderful. Mwah. See you next week.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, so all that is left
And then
to
there were
talk
two.
about. Yeah, then there were two. We've been losing people this entire podcast. All that's left to talk about is Fleischman is in
And my
trouble.
score, I haven't scored it.
Oh, what score would you give someone I used
Two
to know?
stars. I'd give it a 2.
I mean, what's love got to do with it? 2 stars for what's love got to do with it.
Yeah, I think it was an opportunity wasted.
All right, cool.